This is a Marx Windup Commodore Vanderbilt locomotive, and this is a Futaba transmitter for radio control. Now, what does something old-fashioned like this wind-up locomotive have to do with radio control? Well, what we've done is we've taken this Marx locomotive and we have put the receiver and battery pack for the radio control in the tender, along with an on and off switch, and we have wired that to a servo that's in the cab, and the servo runs a brake on a specially modified Marx riser gear wind-up motor. And so what we have is a wind-up locomotive that is radio controlled. And it still has the original mechanical brake on it, functions like a emergency brake on a car. So if something glitches on the radio, the locomotive won't just take off while we're winding it. So we have the locomotive wound, remove the key, take our radio control transmitter and go ahead and turn it on. Good practice. Then we reach underneath the tender and we turn on the radio control unit in the locomotive. Assuming I can find the switch. There we go. Now, since we have the emergency brake on, it won't go anywhere if we take the emergency brake off. Then we can push the button on the radio control. And away we go. Okay, when I ran the locomotive off camera, I stopped it just outside of the engine terminal. Threw a switch, and so we just hit the radio control again, and off goes the locomotive. We'll bring it around here, bring it to a stop. Now we can go ahead, and even though we didn't go very far, we will rewind the motor just so we have a fresh wind on it. And again, setting the emergency brake. Okay, we'll release the emergency brake. We'll go ahead and throw the switch, and we'll see if I can operate the remote control and run the train through the yard at the same time. So here we go. And there it is, bring it to a stop. Not the easiest thing in the world to run both of them at the same time, but it can be done. So anyway, that's the Marx radio control wind-up locomotive. We'll go ahead and zoom in here closer so get a look at it. Right now I have the antenna coming out of the tender, and I just have it draped over a gondola and caboose. And it's a cheaper radio control, so the servo sits there and jitters around sometimes. It doesn't make real good radio contact, especially when it goes through the metal tunnel. But it does work, and it's a lot of fun. Okay, let's move it out of the yard. And I overshot the switch a little bit. That's okay. We'll give it another wind. Sometimes it needs the extra power to go through the tight corners. Okay, we'll run it around the yard as soon as I take the emergency brake off. waiting at the crossing. Go ahead and throw a couple of switches here. And the nice thing about it, I'm a little jittery on the controls here since I'm running the camera and the radio control. But it will crawl along fairly slowly at times if you have an easy hand on the throttle, so to speak. And of course it's a wind-up locomotive, so it will run pretty fast too. It still has the original governor in it, so it'll run up to the speed of the original governor. So there you have it, old technology and new, the Marx wind-up radio control locomotive.